The next idea that we talked about was this idea of pushing and pulling. And I am going to back up for a second. We talked about how in this version of Kotegaeshi, we're sort of assuming that I didn't have the timing. Danny was trying to hit me, and I just got out of the way. I didn't have time to time this perfectly. And we were saying, what is the opposite extreme? What is the absolute perfect world? I have superhuman timing version of this. This is Danny's trying to punch me here. And I am going to catch him absolutely square on. And just, again, one fraction of an inch past where he wants to be. And here's another one of these dualities. I don't think I mentioned it before. I want to catch him as absolutely square on as I can. And at this point, I am both the most vulnerable because I'm setting up this conduit for energy between Danny and myself. I'm the most vulnerable and the most dangerous if I catch him straight on. And now what I'm going to do is, we talked about this pushing and pulling. I'm pushing with the pinky, and I'm pulling with sort of this area of my hand. So can we bring in the camera right in close? When I say I'm pulling with my hand, obviously there's no way that I can pull with the thumb here. I'm not grabbing on and pulling. There's no way I can pull. What I'm actually doing is I'm selectively yielding. But what it feels like to me is that it feels like there's this magnetic connection between Danny's knuckle and this part of my hand. And I'm just trying to draw this out. That's how I remain connected. So I said in the beginning, this is sort of just about connection. But it's what do I have to think in my mind to maintain this connection? And the idea is, if ever I'm pushing somewhere, what I'm starting to try to think to myself is, okay, I'm pushing somewhere, where am I pulling? Because if things are in balance, and if you're connected, you can't just push. But basically, so Danny, perfect world scenario that you're never going to try, but let's imagine it for a second. Danny's punching in. I'm going to let him extend 1/2 an inch past where he wanted to hit me. And I'm trying to get square on here, and I'm pushing with this part of my hand, I'm pulling with this, and I'm trying to go right to Danny's heels. And that's what we ended up with. Now, we didn't play with this tonight, but the other night we mentioned this. We were doing Kotegaeshi, and we were talking about, well, with this hand, maybe you're pulling, and with this hand, maybe you're pushing. And that's a fine way to start thinking about it. But actually, the way I'm trying to think about it now is, not only am I pulling with this hand and pushing with this hand, right, in equal amount to get that turn, but also within this hand, I am pulling with this part, or, well, let's see. It's like I'm pulling with this part, and I'm sort of pushing with the thumb. So even within this hand, there's that pulling, pushing. And now with this hand, again, this is like the fist that we did a second ago. I'm trying to draw this out with the thumb. I'm selectively yielding, which feels like pulling to me. And I'm pushing with the pinky here. So I put those two together where each of them is equally pushing and pulling. And I get this very effortless motion.